I'm back. What have we got here today? Well, I just thought I'd have a look at some of the Eventide stuff. I went wandering across America actually, and I couldn't really find anything to buy. I looked at Fenders, I looked at Ernie Balls, I looked at Gibson, all the usual candidates. The funny thing was, as I wandered around in LA and Florida and one or two other places, I never really found anything that I really wanted that excited me in any way. It gets a bit boring sometimes like that. I mean, come on. You've been one Guitar Centre, you've been them all. You've been one Sam Ash, you've been them all. It gets a little bit, the sameish after a while. You probably notice it yourself. I don't know. So anyway, I'd been looking in the magazines in England. You know how you do, you scan through the pages, you don't read all the crap all the time. And I saw one of these Eventides. Now, I like Eventide. I'm like that. It's because they sound good. But they made this H9. And I'd seen those other ones, the little pedals that they have. I thought they were expensive, just for what they were really. You didn't really get much of everything. You got either reverbs, or you got a bit of delay, or has a different pedal, or you got something else. Anyway, I didn't bother with them. It's just not worth the money. But anyway, as I'm wandering around and looking at the mag, and all the stuff, I seen this Eventide H9, and I thought, well, they do two models. They do the basic, or what they call the core model, and they do the more upmarket one. Anyway, I got the more upmarket one because the upmarket one, in fact, is cheaper by the time you get it back here than the basic one, if you get me. That's what it's like in England. You don't want to be here. And all you guys that are here, well, you know what I mean, don't you? It's bad. Anyway, getting back to business. The Eventide H9. Well, it's got the delays and it's got the reverbs and it's got some of those fantastic sort of dreamy effects that you get. Only from Eventide. Well, that's what I think. I've got a H7600 out in the studio. Big rack thing. Cost me thousands. And I've got an Eventide Eclipse in the rack. And that cost me a lot of money too. But this one, I think they were listed at $499 for the upmarket one, and I think $349 or something like that for the cheap one, quote. But hey, I'm going to let you into a secret. The cheap one and the dear one, the hardware is absolutely the same. So if you go and buy one of the cheap ones, the core, I love saying that, then you're getting the same product as if you bought the dear one, the expensive one. Well, what's the difference? Well, inside these things, they run on software really, and Eventide are really well known for making what they call an algorithm. Well, to you and me, that might be a reverb or a delay or one of the sounds or one of the effects. That's the best way to put it. In the core one, you get X amount, and then the upmarket one, you get X amount plus the difference in money. That's a good idea. You get a fair few more in the upmarket one. So if you want to buy the core one, money's a bit tight, buy the core one and then buy the algorithms as you go. It all sounds a good idea to me. And one thing that's quite exciting about it, if you buy this one, I'm not sure if it's the same on the core one, but on this one you get a free algorithm, which I thought was interesting. Now I'm going to show you all about this pedal, and I'm going to show you how it can connect to it with an iPad and all the rest of it. It's all good stuff. But before that, bearing in mind this is one of my inside and out reviews, what we're going to do is whip this thing apart, have a good look inside, see the guts, so to speak, see what it's made of, and see what you're really buying as opposed to what you think you're buying. I mean, because let's face it, inside there, it could be a pile of garbage, let's call it that. It might not be, but it could be. Who knows? We'll find out when we screw the lid off. Now let's get one thing straight before we go any further. This thing is made in China. Now then, You know what that means, don't you? Well, you usually know what it means, but not always. You know, in the music business, guys always associate Chinese product as not being very good. Let's call it that, because I don't want to swear much. That's not the way to do things. But I can tell you that some Chinese products are exceptionally good. Some Japanese products are exceptionally good. But in the case of Eventide, it's exceptionally good, even though it's Chinese. Well, how's that come about? Well, it's all simple, really. What they do is they have a production line in China, but they manage it. Hey, that's a good idea. You haven't got the Chinese guy managing the production line because, you know, Chinese and English doesn't fit together too well. Well, unless you've got a takeaway. But we haven't got a takeaway. What we've got? Well, I guess we have got a takeaway. Yeah, it's a Chinese takeaway. But not as you think it is. Because when it's managed by somebody from the western side of the world, they make it work as it should. That's a good idea. Then you get what you pay for, don't you? As opposed to opening some of them Chinese apps that I've opened historically. Go and check my YouTube channel or website. And you'll see inside clearly that they're not the best of assemblers or manufacturers. In the case of this, they are. I've been in before. I'm going to open it up and show you anyway. So let's go and do that now. And then we'll get back to what else we can do and how we can control this unit, all sorts of other things. It's a really, really useful unit. Hold on, let's get a bit closer. Well, hey, listen up. Just before we do zoom in, I just want to show you. You've only got 4 screws on the back. It's all very simple. And it'll pull apart like a clam. Now you can separate them into 2 halves, and that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to zoom in, and let's get close up and personal. Okay, well, here we are inside. Well, what do you get for your money? Well, you get a processing chip, as you can see it. It's a processing chip. Looks then to me like you've got a few memory chips. Another chip down here, don't know what that does actually. Doesn't really matter. A few support chips, probably for the MIDI and the rest of it. And you've got this connector along the front. This whizzes off to the top half of the unit, which is more like a control part really, more than anything I guess. And other than that, excuse me, you don't really see that much on the unit. But what you do see is extreme high quality. If you look at it carefully, you'll see it doesn't put a foot wrong. There's nothing out of place. There's no later patches that you get on some products. Nothing. It's absolutely pristine. Well, there's a shot of the main processing chip and the other 3 we were talking about. You can see the numbers on there and things like that. If you want to go and absolutely dig on the internet to see what they are. No real point, I guess, because you know what they are. The processing chips. And there's a quick shot of the other ancillary chip on the right. And that really goes to show you the sort of quality that you can get out of China if you're prepared to pay enough money. And it all comes down to money. If you think about it, when you see those other products that are cheap products and you don't see this sort of quality, well, it comes down to the money. It's that simple. So if you buy a Chinese product that's pretty upmarket and pretty expensive for what it is, it's pretty expensive in England. It's about £499. That's about $700 in England. And it's $499 over in the States, I think, give or take. So there's a lot of difference in price between the USA and the UK. Now taking a quick look at the top. This is the top. This controls the big round knob on the front. Got a couple of processing chips, a couple of switches. This is the connector that goes across to the main board. And not much else to see, except to say, once again, that the manufacturing quality is nigh on perfect. It's what you'd really expect, isn't it? From something good, that is. But not something that you'd expect from a Chinese product. So do bear in mind that, you know, while Chinese product can be a load of rubbish, often a managed production line can be much better. Okay, well, let's take a quick look at the unit itself. I'm going to come back to the things on the top. But on the side here, you've got MIDI in and a MIDI out and a through. Well, it's a through. That's a useful bit of gear. On the back we've got 2 inputs, so you can come in stereo if you want and go out in stereo if you want, or you can come in mono, go out in stereo, take your pick. You've got an expression pedal that can fit on here, okay, and you've got your little voltage thing that fits on here. By the way, you can connect a PC to this USB up here. And that's about it, really. The only other thing to talk about really is that you'll see it's got all the approvals, the Roche compliances and all the rest of it. A bit like the AXFX didn't have, and they're all marked on the box, and it actually tells you on here, as I've always said it should do, is assembled in China, and you know, the AXFX boys later updated their system so that it said that. Fancy selling products that are technically illegal. Fancy that. Anyway, point is, assembled in China, designed by Eventide. Yeah, they like to say that. Well, it is. Assembled in China. That's it. Probably the same place as most of the other stuff's assembled. I'm back. Well, what we're going to do is first of all set this up with an iPad, plug it in, have a quick look around it, see what happens in that area, and then we'll move on a bit from there. It's all going to be exciting stuff. In fact, it's far better than it looks. It doesn't look much, does it? Weighs a ton, by the way. It's really, it's cast. It's really well made. Let's get the gear set up and have a zoom in. Hold on. Well, there's a quick shot of how we're having it set up. We've got the H9 over there, and we've got the iPad over here. I'm going to zoom in a bit closer to this. We'll come back to the unit in a moment or two. Well, here we are. The very first thing you have to do, actually, is to go and configure this unit to connect to the Eventide H9 that's over there. I go into settings, you go to Bluetooth, and then you connect to the H9. You can see it there. And you'll see it connecting, and that's it. And we can go back to up here, whiz across to the other screen, and we've got a program here that we can run to connect to the Eventide H9. Now I can see a Bluetooth light on the main unit, so I know it's connected. If we just hit this, okay, it was connected and went, and there it is. So what we've got here are basically the various algorithms for time factor, mod factor, pitch factor, space and H9. Now thing is, those algorithms for each one of these other units that you can go and buy are basically identical. So if you wanted to have all of those 4 pedals, you can do it with the H9. Obviously there are only so many algorithms provided as standard, otherwise they'd never sell any of the other pedals. But having said that, what's also useful is that the ones that you may not like aren't provided, so the ones that you would like are typically there as standard. So let's take a look at some of the algorithms. If we go to Tape Echo, for example, this is set up for this B loud, whatever that is, doesn't really matter, and you can adjust accordingly, all nice and simple. You can activate it, you can turn it on or off. Okay, you can whiz down and have a look at some of the others. I've made changes. I'm going to say no, I don't want to do that. You can go and have a look at all the others, and what's really great about it, if the pedal's connected to an amp or something like that, basically you can hear them. That's all clever stuff, isn't it? That's covered under the presets for this particular unit, which was time factor. We can have a look under mod factor, choruses. Oops, it's not like Apple. Nothing. There we go. We got a whole pile of them down here, which again you can sit and listen to, turn on and off, make the adjustments, do whatever you want. It's all good. Same applies to pitch factor. It's a harmonising bit, I guess. Yeah. Tempo on and off, all the stuff. Well, as well as that, I won't bore you with all that. We've got preset lists that we can sort of fill out and use these accordingly. I'm not even going to waste my time showing you much about it really. These are on the H9. We can have a look at what they set to. When I hit it, by the way, it will take you to it, but it also switches the unit over there across. I don't really want to do that. Let's go back to where we were. There they are. There's a pile to be going on with. I think there's 99. We'll leave it to that for now. Now, moving along here to this basket. What's that all about? It's not a basket case, is it? Well, no it isn't. Will it just wake up? And what does appear on a new unit, that where you get this free algorithm, you may or may not on the one you buy, it tells you you've got a coupon here, and basically you can go and buy an algorithm or a style, a sound, a setting, call it what you will, preset. You get one for free, but then you've got to buy all the rest. Well, I'm just going to say okay and ignore it, because I'm like that. So if we wanted to, let's imagine we wanted to have a look at a mod factor. I can hit that, and what you've got down here is all the ones that you haven't got. The ones you have got, well, they're coloured out. Let's imagine we wanted to have a look at that flanger. Well, there it is, but it doesn't mean much, does it? Well, you can listen to it. Just click it, have a listen, and here it comes. There it goes. Oh, so we like something else? Well, mod filter. You can listen to that. Some wild stuff in here. Nice phaser. Listen. You get the idea. Now it's possible to do that really with any of these. Doesn't matter which one we choose. We can go and have a quick look, or a quick listen indeed. You'll notice some of them have got... You'll notice some of them have got far more effects to check than certain other algorithms. Let's try this one. Now, as well as that, we've got another section for looking at the unit itself, so we can go into tuners. There's loads of things we can do. Actually, change the input gain, all sorts of things in real time, rather than faffing around on the pedal. You can just do all this now. It's all quite nice, really. And then we've got settings too. Eventide account, that allows you to store all your settings in there. So if you get this nicked, you'll still have all your settings. It's a good idea. There's loads of other things, but that's it in there for now. I think just showing you about it like this is probably the easiest way. I mean, it's simple. Look at it. Now, just showing you in this mode, if I basically choose, keep your eyes on this. If I choose a different preset, you'll see it'll switch. So in real time, it's all a simple matter of play and you will hear. If you have the drift. What I like about it is it's all so easy to use. You know, there's nothing complex, or you don't have to spend days on end of it sort of trying to make it sound how you want it to sound and things like that. All simple stuff. They're like me, really. Let's go and take a look at the control unit itself. Okay, one of the things I just wanted to show you is how we'd go up and down in the banks. Well, what you've got here, that sends up or down when you hit that. So if I use this button here, you can see we're going up. Now auto select after a while if you're in the right mode, but at the moment I'm in a mode where I can select with the active button here. Now I'm on 2. But the truth is, what if you want to go down? I mean, I'm whizzing through these and they're all going up. Well, let's imagine we've chosen 5 and I want to go down. You just hit that and now you'll find that they'll go down. It's really that simple, and choose it like that. So you could hit that and we can go back up. You get the idea. We've got a number of controls across the top that can control the spread, the length, depending on what it is, and the mix. And if you look at this, for example, you can see like this lights up around here. So if we move it around, we can see what's going on. Okay, you see that? All nice effect really, for what it is. We've got the hot knob, which turns down or up. You can see it doing its adjustment there. Well, what's it adjusting? Well, you can actually set this knob. Think of it like a controller really. You can set it to control anything you want, so quite useful. Go back to presets. We've got the up and down stuff going on. I'll leave it at that for now. So let's zoom back out. I'm back. Let's have a tea. Cheers. Cheers, as they say in England. That's classic. Yummy, yummy. Anyway, let's put that over there out of the way. Just off camera. Then you won't know I drank any, will you? Anyway, there's the unit. Not a bad unit, it's really well made. I tell you what about one thing though, the power supply. I always harp on about power supplies, because that's just the way it is. I'm a power supply nut. But what this is one of them wall-wart things, and you know, bearing in mind this one came from the States, it's got that two pin thing on, you know, that American one, because it's 110 volts or 100 volts or whatever it is over there. I forget these days. But over here in England, where it matters for me, it's 240 volts and it's 230 if you're in Europe. Well, the good news is that the power supply that comes with this thing, guess what? You got it in one. It's universal. Yeah, so you put the converter on and plug her in, and away you go. And there's your $460, you figure it out, into Europe with a bit of tax and a bit of whatever it is, shipping, and it's still cheaper than buying in England. Fancy that. Good-o. I like to see that sort of thing, don't you? Where you can bypass the price fixing. Yeah. You know, some of these distributors, you know what they're like, don't you? Go to my website and I'll tell you all about them. It's all on there. All the real get down and dirty stuff. So where are we going to go from here? Well, we're going to go outside into the studio to plug her in, do a few demo things. You know, I'm not like some of the people out there. Some of them are really good, and again some of them are really bad. I'm sort of sitting in the middle somewhere. Don't worry about that, I don't. Can't make any money from it, so I might as well not worry, had I? Unless you want to go on Spotify for 0.001 of a cent every play. Yeah. 2 years you'll have a burger. That's ridiculous, man. Anyway, we're going to go outside with it and see what it sounds like. But just bearing in mind, I'd usually end the tape after we've done the playing. Let's do a bit of a summing up here. Points out of 10. Yeah, it's 10. It's brilliant. It's really great for the money. And that's the point, great for the money. But to get an Eventide for that price, well, I don't mind paying the £13 for the extra algorithm. That's a fair amount of money. That must be about $19. But I have a sneaky feeling you Americans will be paying $13. It's just the way I think. So you'll be getting the great deal. We'll be getting ripped off. But it still sounds just as good, whether you're ripped off or not. And you can store loads of these algorithms in here. So that's one of the great things about it. So it's a 10 out of 10 for this thing. Go down to your dealers or, well, buy one from the States with the best answer and try it yourself. And you'll find some of the effects in here you won't really get from anything else. Eventide is good that way. There's some really cracking sounds, you know, them dreamy sort of things, as well as the everyday stuff. But the quality of them is always very, very high, and that's one of the reasons I use a H7600 in the studio. You don't get it any better. It's got effects for absolutely everything, is that thing. But this is for a guitarist, so it has things for guitarists. That's a good answer. Now don't forget to check out my website, www.tonymckenzie.com, as you might imagine. Yeah, here it is. And my YouTube, youtube.com/TonyMcKenzie without the dot. I say that every time, I know, but there are people who've never seen the videos before. And just one last thing, just before I do go. If you're 39 or over, go and get checked out for prostate cancer, because if you don't, it could be very painful and then it will go dark. I got checked out and I'm still here. And by the way, I just got the results of the second 3-month period, so that's 6 months. And cancer, yeah, it's completely zero, it's gone, it's zilch, it's out. So, unfortunately for you guys that don't like me, I'm staying. So here's the playing, well, sort of playing. It's coming up now. It's completely unbiased, because I am unbiased. I even bought this, fancy that. I wonder if you buy yours. Or you get a freebie. Anyway, it's coming up now. Rock and roll. Thanks for watching it. My stomach's growling. It's in England, it's dark. Well, it's pitch black outside. Hence the funny colour lights and things. And thanks for watching, guys. Rock and roll. Oh no, that's it. Yeah. He didn't teach me right. Okay, well, these are just a pile of presets on the Harmonizer. The H9, sorry. 6. They're at random. I'm just choosing them. Doesn't matter which ones they are, but you'll get an idea of the sound. Says here. This one's Classic Crystals.